Hello, hello, and welcome to Swipe Left. My name is Milon Trejor. I'm your host, and I just want to take this time to thank all of you for giving me this time with you to share my week's times in these streets. I did the first show last week. This is episode 2. Today is January the 26th, 2019. I got a really good response and I'm very, very happy. This is something that I've been wanting to do for a while. Like I said, it's a new spin on an old product that I had. So without any further ado, let's swipe left and let's get started. First things first, happy birthday to who? Today, January 26th, is actually the birthday of my grandmother, Miss Thelma Colwell. And I want to take this time to say happy birthday, Queen. And I just promise you that if she had not gone home and cashed in her chips and left this casino that we call life down here on the earth, in March of 2018, my grandmother would be just like you. She'd be somewhere right now watching me and saying, all right, bitch. Okay, is this what we're doing? Yes, Nana, this is what we're doing. So, like I said, I want to take some time to say happy birthday to my grandmother. You all know, if you've been watching me for any amount of time, you know I love, love, love my grandmother. My grandmother was who I stuck up underneath. That candor that actually makes me Milon and makes me James some of the other times, it all came basically from my grandmother. She's the one who would say the things. All the little colorful things that I say, those are all little Miss Thelma-isms, honey. Things that she passed on. She's the one that made me comfortable to actually blurt out things that I had no business saying. We had the strangest relationship, honey. Nobody understood it except for her and I. We understood it. We get down there, baby, and we argue and fuss and fight, carry on. Honey, but that was my girl, honey. That was my girl. And again, she was all into Milon, honey. The thing is, early on, she didn't really care for her too much. She wasn't really feeling the whole thing, but that was before Milon actually came to be. She always used to say, she would tell me, you go ahead and do what you want to do. I don't have a problem with the whole gay thing. She didn't have a problem with that. That was no problem. But she used to always say, you do whatever you want to do, you be whoever you want to be, but God damn it, you be the best at it. But no high heel sneakers. No high heel sneakers. That was her thing. I don't know why. I didn't know any other drag queens. I didn't even know what she was even making reference to. But that was her thing. No high heel sneakers. And see, this is the thing. You all know you have to watch what you tell your kids to do and to not do, because your kids tend to slide to whatever it is that you say don't do. I started sewing for a drag queen, looked and I said, child, she alright. She cute and all. But hell, I could do that. And I think I could do it real, real good. And then the next thing you know, va-dum, bump, bam, and then she's here, honey. Yes, it was Milon, honey. All that time, I hadn't even been thinking about doing any type of drag or messing with drag. Hadn't even thought about it. Was playing in girls' clothes all the time. I was always sewing and creating. I never thought about wearing it. Honey, my grandmother kept on beating my ear. And the next thing you know, honey, she created a drag queen. So thanks, Gram. Thanks, girl. But once she got here, my grandmother was fine with her, honey. She was at all the shows. She was giving me stuff and buying me stuff and making sure I had things for certain things, and child plays. It was what it was. She loved her. She got a kick out of her after she was created. But yeah, watch what you tell your kids not to do, honey, because generally what you tell them not to do is the thing that they run and do. Yep. Anyway, Funny thing is, she never could say the name. I don't know what it was about the whole Milan, and that's before I even added the Trésor to it. Just Milan in general. She never could get the Milan thing together. So there's been plenty of times, and you see plenty of videos and things where she would be in the audience, and you would hear her say, "Oh yeah, Shaft, do it. Oh, go ahead, James." Shaft, child, that's a whole other story for another time, honey. That's a nickname that I've actually had since birth. Ridiculous. That's a whole other story. Why they gave me that nickname, ridiculous. I have absolutely nothing in common with that man at all. I should have always been Cleopatra Jones. Somebody. I should have been Sheba Baby or Foxy Brown. Somebody, not no damn Shaft, but that's what I got stuck with. But you would hear my grandmother screaming, "Yes, Shaft, sing it, bitch," in the audience. Because she just couldn't get the Milan part together. She's like, "What's the bitch's name again?" Child, a mess. But anyway, enough about that. I miss my grandmother. I really do. It's so funny. You know, anybody who has lost a loved one that is close, you know what I'm talking about. There are days I think about her more now than ever. And it's crazy because you don't call every day. You may not call for weeks when you just know they're there. And there's times now where I will reach for my phone to call my grandmother to start with her, just to get her to start cussing and say, damn, she is not going to answer the phone. She's done with this. She's done with these phone calls from me, honey. Her phone calls are a little bit more deep, honey. They're a little out of my reach at this time. But I'm okay. I'm all right because I spent a lot of years with my grandmother. I learned a lot of things from my grandmother, good and bad, honey. Good and bad. But I miss my grandma. Happy birthday to you, Queen. And girl, rest in peace, honey. Happy birthday. Swipe left. Very quickly, this week we actually celebrated Martin Luther King Jr. Day. Kamala Harris, member of the Democratic Party, U.S. Senator Kamala Harris, has made the announcement she is putting her high heel sandal into the race for 2020 to become the first African American woman president of the United States. Now, she's not the first woman to ever actually do this. The first woman to ever do it was Shirley Chisholm, and that was done back in 1972. But that's okay. It's been a lot of years. A lot of things have actually changed. The fight hasn't changed, but a lot of other things have changed. But we're going to go ahead and take our hat off and give a couple shouts out and some claps up and some prayers up for Kamala Harris in her race to be United States President. Good luck, Senator Harris. Swipe left. Okay, so let's talk about accusations. Earlier this week, Chris Brown was accused of rape in France. He was arrested, and after 2 days, it was found that it seems this woman was actually lying. The accusation was a lie. Now, Chris didn't just let it go. Chris is now filing suit against this woman, a defamation suit against her. You know what? There's this whole thing with accusations. You have to be very careful with these accusations and then what you do with them. You know what I mean? Because an accusation of that magnitude can really, really ruin a person's life. And then we have to wait. You can't be so quick to just jump in and swear that you know what's going on. And I say that because once this happened, there was a trickle effect. See, I'm not always in this big race to jump on camera and start telling you what I seen. Sometimes I give it a little bit of time. Now, Eve. You all know Eve. Eve didn't do that. Eve was on their show, The Talk, and she started bluttering things out of her mouth. And she started going on into this whole thing. And, Chris needs to grow up and he thinks he's a superstar and you can't just do this, that, thing, and the other because you think you're special and all of. She was really giving it to Chris. And I'm like, okay, Miss Eve. Well, 2 days later, when everything switched up, and then Chris's fans, you know them little paw prints that she got? Her little paw print tattoos? Baby, they came for her and left scratch marks on her paw prints, baby. Chris Brown's fans let her have it. You understand me? And then what did Eve end up doing? She brought her little self out and then she started backpedaling and pussy popping. You all know how much I can't stand that, honey. You meant every word you said. You meant every word you said, and if Chris didn't know how you felt about him before, he now knows that you think that he thinks he's a superstar. Excuse me, Eve. He is a superstar, boo. Catch it. You better, girl, Google him, honey. He is a superstar, so it's not a thought. He is a superstar. And then you think that he's immature. You said that. You said that. So my thing is, I don't even know why you even bother backpedaling and pussy popping. Just, it was what it was. You said what you said. Go ahead and just apologize. But then to try to, when I heard her talking and it just didn't seem very genuine to me. And then she tried to make it like it was very lighthearted. It wasn't lighthearted. We're talking about rape. Rape. Rape is horrible. It is horrible. When it's an accusation, it's terrible. When it's found to be true, it's completely horrible. But when it's found that it's not true, terrible. Rape allegations and molestation allegations can ruin a person's life. You need to be very sure of what you're saying when you're saying these things. You can ruin a person's life, and it's very hard. It is very hard to prove your innocence a lot of times in those situations. So just slow down, and then you won't have to always be out here doing the BP and PP, Miss Eve. Because, girl, you ended up looking a fool in these streets. A complete fool. And there's nothing more that I can stand. A person backpedaling and pussy popping with paw prints. Girl, bye. Bye, Miss Eve. All of you RuPaul fans, it's time to get even more excited than you've been. At this present time, we actually have RuPaul's Drag Race All-Stars 4 is actually airing on VH1. It's actually running now. I watch it every week and I do reviews on it every week. You can find that on my YouTube channel. Love, love, love the show, and it is truly at its best right now. Let me tell you, I'm really enjoying it. Ru is so busy, he's everywhere. He's everywhere and she's everywhere. Both of them. Ru and Ru. You know what I mean. Ru has actually, VH1 has gone ahead and gave out the list of season 11 contestants. So season 11, I'm thinking season 11 and the All-Star season are just basically one's going to go and the other one's going to start up, which this is fantastic for Ru because we're at a point where it looks like Ru is just on all year round, just about. Fantastic. You know what? I live for RuPaul. Live for RuPaul for many reasons, but RuPaul Charles is an excellent, excellent businessman. Trust me. So here we got season 11. We got the queens. They're from all over the place. And this time, there are 15 of them. Generally, there's 12 or 14. This season, for 11, we have 15 of them. And the 15th queen, Lord have mercy, is Vanessa Vanjie Mateo. I live for Miss Vanjie. I live for Miss Vanjie. And they're bringing her back Shangela style. I said, oh, Lord, it's going to be a mess. It is going to be a mess. And I can't wait. I'm going to love every moment of it. Now, this will be, I don't have a date for the start of the season just yet, but I'm going to give you all this. There's one queen on there. Her name is Silky. She's from Mississippi. I've seen her. Baby, I just instantly fell in love with her. She is the tea. You talking about funny and lovable. Miss Silky is hilarious, honey. Silky Nutmeg Gounache, honey, is her name. So, you all be looking out for Miss Silky, you understand me? And then also go over and look. There was actually a full 2-hour program that VH1 did announcing the Queens, and I actually did a review for that. So that's actually over on my channel too, and you can hear me talk about all 15 of the Queens. But at this point, before we even get started, I'm Team Silky. Team Silky. I love Angie too, but I'm Team Silky. So that's that. Can't wait. Love the girls. I'm enjoying season 4. Have no idea who's going to win season 4, but I am truly enjoying it. All right. See you guys over there in the RuPaul's Drag Race. All right. Swipe left. Speaking of drag, you know, most times I find something that has to do with fashion. I love fashion and I love designing and all of these things. So mostly every week you see me, I'm going to have something to say about somebody's fashions that have been out there in the media. And this week is no different. Take a look at this. Baby, did you see those shoes? Did you see those shoes? This is A1. Producer extraordinaire. A1 is actually on Love and Hip Hop Hollywood. I believe it's Hollywood. Yeah, A1's in Hollywood, I believe. Him and his wife. And it's always an ongoing joke about him, and they tease him about his sexuality and things like that, but it is what it is. A1 is A1. I don't know what A1 is other than what he tells me he is. He is married. He has a wife. They just had a baby. And that's it. So as far as I know, there's no sexuality situations that has to do with him. But it's fun laughing at it and poking at it. But he wears blonde dreads. Sometimes they're in an updo. He's very fluent. You know what I mean? He's very fluent with his fashions and all of this stuff. He wears black fingernail polish and all of these things. And these are the things that always gets the conversation going when it has to do with A1. Now, what I'll say is that A1 is a gender-bending fool, period. And these shoes, I don't know, I can't even determine a sex for these shoes. These shoes and these orange socks, it's just ugly. Trust me, the ugliness of this shoe has nothing to do with sexuality at all, but you definitely look like a new superhero that we're going to call Tinky Poo. Just horrible. Horrible. Ugly, big, buxom, cumbersome, and horrible. I don't want to see a woman or a man in them ugly ass shoes. Those shoes are horrible, A1. Horrible. And those tight jeans aren't helping. It's not helping. Horrible. And for the record, they're all going to laugh at you, honey. They're all going to laugh at you. Anyway, moving on, honey. Swipe left on them shoes, honey. Okay, let's talk about music. Something else that I love. I love music just as much as I love fashion. Let's talk about music. There were some real hits and some real misses this week. Let's start with the misses. This couple. Ronnie and Shamari DeVoe. Yes, Ronnie DeVoe of New Edition, Ronnie DeVoe, and Shamari, lead singer of Black. You know that they are both now on weekly. They're on The Real Housewives of Atlanta. We're learning a lot about Ronnie and Shamari. Very interesting couple. Very interesting couple. Check out my reviews on the show, on the Real Housewives of Atlanta show, and you'll hear all of what I think about Ronnie and Shamari. Okay, but they both sang, and now they've come together to create some music. Okay, Maury and me and Maury, some mess like that. I said, okay, all right. The two of them were actually on Chicago Channel 7 on a morning show, and they performed their new single called Love Comes Through. Now, okay, listen to this. We never knew Ronnie for singing, okay? I don't even know what Ronnie actually sounds like by himself. Well, I do now. I do now because I actually saw him in the studio doing some things on Real Housewives of Atlanta. So I know what he sounds like now. But during his New Edition days, which is still going on, we don't ever hear Ronnie singing. We just always know Ronnie always looked nice in his clothes because he's nice and tall, and he looked nice in his clothes, and he could dance his behind off. So we knew that about Ronnie, but didn't nobody know what Ronnie really sounded like. Child, when I heard Ronnie in the studio on Real Housewives of Atlanta, I said, oh, well, okay. All right. Now, Shamari can sing, okay? She can sing. I heard her sing on the show. And she sings really well. Now, I'm going to say this. When I heard the song, I said, damn, Ronnie, why are you messing up Shamari's song? Because the song itself, it's corny, but it's not a bad song. It's not a bad song, but she needs to take her husband out of the song. He came in, and I said, child, Ronnie done fucked up the church's money. With Ronnie. Ronnie don't need to be in the song. We put Ronnie in the video. We put him in the video, and we can let him dance and do his favorite thing. Okay, see, now this is, I'm ready to jump over. During Real Housewives of Atlanta, Ronnie had a whole lot to say to Candy one episode about placement, about her group Escape and their stage performance. Well, let me tell you something, Ronnie. After looking at that stage performance with you and your girl, don't you open your mouth again to anyone about placement. The whole complete dance consists. This shoulder bounce, it was a mess. It was a mess. It was corny. He had on this sequin jacket. She had on a sweater that looked like she was on her way to an ugly Christmas sweater party, and it was just a shoulder bounce. I said, baby, that mess don't work for nobody but Bobby and Whitney. We accepted it from them. Y'all remember? We got something in common. Y'all remember? We took that from them because Whitney didn't dance, and we didn't care because it was Whitney Houston. Shamari, darling, is not Whitney Houston. She sings well, but she's not Whitney Houston. And you are not Bobby Brown, now that we see, Hattie. So, no, it doesn't work. It doesn't work. Get on out of it. You can be in the video, standing in the back, doing something or other. But that shoulder bounce and that vocal, no sir. No sir, Ronnie. You do backup good. You make Pretty Twins good, because they have a real cute set of Pretty Twins. They do cute twins. You throw shade good, so you can continue doing that on the show. But this duet singing and this shoulder bouncing, no. And on that, I'm going to have to swipe left. All right. Also in music, like I said, there are some hits. Tiana Taylor, baby, if you can hear me, kudos to you, bitch. Girl, you did that. You did that! Do you hear me? Tiana Taylor released a video. She's had a single that she has been calling WTP. Okay, and I'm going to tell you in a minute what WTP stands for. Because most people won't really know what that is unless you're really into house music or you're from the ballroom community. Something of that nature. WTP is the song she took, and she basically took an old house song, which just happens to be my favorite house song of all time. And and the song is called Work This Pussy, and it's by a group called Go Bitch Go. Okay? That's the original. My favorite song of all time. My favorite house song of all time. So as soon as I hear her doing it, and then she added a little to it, you know, she borrowed the track and she added to it and made it her own. And I'd seen live performances of Tiana doing the song. I'm like, she kills this. She kills it live. I live for Tiana. Tiana for me just reminds me of a real fierce drag queen. She does. I just think she's so fierce. She likes to play in makeup and she likes to play in wigs, and she's really fierce. She is. She really, really is. And she looks good in a lot of exotic things, and she has a very exotic look. Love it. So what she ended up doing is she took this song and she did a full video, and the video is over 9 minutes long. I said, come on, girl, what you ready to do here? Because, you know, that's a Janet and Michael situation. They pull off long videos like that. Chris Brown pulls off long videos and things like that. So I said, what you going to do here? Miss Tiana does the video. Listen, I have said before, I feel like the documentary, Paris is Burning, is like a gay house Bible, is what it is. I don't even know a better way to explain it to you. If you have questions about the ballroom, what the ballroom is, what it's all about, transsexuals, if you have questions about trans women, and you can kind of get an understanding for a little bit about trans men, but it's more so trans women, go and see Paris is Burning. Paris is Burning, I think it's on Netflix, and there's actually, I think you can see it on YouTube as well. But it's like the gay house Bible. It has all the answers to all the questions, and when people come in my lives, I answer some questions, but generally I will send them to watch Paris is Burning. What Tiana has done is taken the whole Paris is Burning documentary and she put her money where her mouth was. She literally, when I say pay homage to the documentary, it is like watching the movie all over again. It has that authenticity of the movie. It has the same flow of the movie. It tells a bit of the story of a few people in the movie. You know, she shows herself as a pretty dowdy chick that questions herself, and she basically is running around for people in the ballroom and always wanting to do the ball, and then she shows up one night at the ball and turns the ball out, turns the complete ballroom floor out, and people don't know who it is. It's a real Cinderella story. And you know, it touches home because a lot of times, a lot of us from the ballroom have actually had those little experiences. There is nothing like doing your first ball when people don't really know who you are, and you hit the ballroom floor and they give, where'd that bitch come from? Trust me, I had my moment in Cleveland, Ohio. I hit the floor for Runway Up in Drags, and it was given very much of, who's this bitch? Where bitch come from? It was one of those. So, nothing like it. I sat there. I definitely had a deja vu. I enjoyed the video. Watched it a few times. She definitely put her money where her mouth was. She has guest appearances from her husband, Iman Shumpert. Child, you know, when them two get together, it's always a sexy situation. They have a sexy situation in the video. Beautiful. Love it, honey. Black love all the way, honey. I love it. It was beautiful. Beautifully shot. Gorgeous. Big Frida shows up. I said, yes, you already know. Yes, Frida. Frida showed up in the video. I loved it. And then we looked up and Lena Waithe was in the video. I said, well, come on. Come on, Lena Waithe, director, producer, writer extraordinaire, honey, showed up in the video. I said, girl, you got it going on, Miss Tiana. You got it going on, girl. You put your money where your mouth is, and you definitely, I'm sure, called in some favors for this, but it turned out fabulous. Fabulous. It is the best that I have seen of somebody doing something that was homage to that whole Paris is Burning situation, other than Pose. So, since Pose, this is the best thing I've actually seen that has actually popped out for the actual ballroom community. It's wonderful. And there's tons of relevant ballroom children and ballroom house mothers, and you have to see it. You have to see it. It's beautiful, and it was done beautiful. And hats off to you, Tiana Taylor. Girl, this was definitely a hit. Definitely a hit. And on that, we're going to swipe left. Okay, and I think the most talked about thing this week that I've run into is reality TV. It was on the reality TV circuit. And that is Celebrity Big Brother. Celebrity Big Brother has actually had basically like a clash of the titans on here. They're coming on like, I never watched Celebrity Big Brother. It wasn't one of my shows that I watched, but I think it comes on 3 or 4 days a week, okay? And right away, it was the clash of the titans. It's Tamar Braxton versus Kandi Burruss. Lord have mercy. So listen, I'm going to go a different route than what I've actually heard some other people and some other outlets going as far as this Tamar and Kandi thing. Because it's the same old, same old. It's, you know, come on. It's reality TV. You get two heavy hitters, two dramatic asses. Kandi, you know, Kandi is dramatic and she cries all the time and she's very passive aggressive. Tamar Braxton, she does the exact same thing, but she just does it with a Muppet mask on. Same stuff. So anyway, we got all that going on. And I said, all right, cool, no problem. But that's not enough to make me watch. But I do know that that is good reality TV. People are going to buy in because there's lots of people who love Tamar. I love Tamar's talent, but her persona, I can't get with. Her persona drives me up a wall. Kandi, I love her business sense. Sometimes her behavior drives me just down the fence in the yard. I can't. So I'm like, okay, this is the same old, same old. We know the drama. We know how it works. But this brought me into something deeper. It took me all the way back into 2018. Now, come on, walk with me. Walk with me, walk with me. I got some things I got to say. Now, Kandi gets down in here and she didn't even realize that she was really having all of this conflama, is what we'll call it, with Miss Tamar. Tamar is pissed off because Tamar toured last year with Escape, okay? Now, there were all kinds of issues. There were issues. Kandi thought they were good. The tour's over. She thought, you know, okay, it's over, it's cool, everybody's cool. No, Tamar's been pissed off and hasn't said anything. So now they get together in the Celebrity Big Brother house, and Tamar's like, oh no, bitch, we're not cool. Alliance? What kind of alliance? Girl, we're not cool, Miss Thing. And, you know, and her vibe was given as soon as I get a chance, bitch, you're out of here. I'm going to get you out of here. That was what the vibe was given. So Kandi's like, then her passive comes in. Now she don't understand nothing that Tamar's talking about. Come on now. Anybody that you've toured with for months, if they say, you know, no, we ain't cool, something will spark in your spirit that you'll say, oh, well, maybe it was this, that, or the other. Kandi played completely stupid. I said, okay, this is cute. So now I watched the scene with Kandi and Tamar, and Kandi was real blowing Tamar off, and Tamar was getting real pissed. And she was like, girl, see, I'm trying to tell you how I feel, and you're giving me all of this kikiing and that laughing, girl. That's disrespectful, bitch, and I'm not going to be able to do that. I'm not going to be able to do that with you. And Tamar was getting more and more upset. Now, I was cool with this part. Tamar ended up walking out. Then she ended up crying. Then Kandi was crying. I said, you know what? Now, we're not, I said, I'm done. All that crying. I said, I'm finished. But this is where I went deeper with all of this. Okay? They brought up a situation. She said, you know, I always felt like on the tour that y'all didn't like me. And y'all would try to ruin my sets. You know, you would make noise or you would try to throw me off whenever I was trying to get ready to go on stage. Things like that, like these little petty things like trying to get in her head. Candy says, no, we weren't doing that. And she's talking about Monica, she's talking about Tiny, she's talking about all the other girls from Escape. You know, she had these issues with them. Okay, so then she's talking about this other little situation, and this is where we go. Come on, y'all. Come on, follow, because this is where it's going to get real interesting. There was a situation, and some of you will remember this if you watch the Queen's Court, which was the original Queen's Court. Now it is the Queen's Supreme Court. And you remember in the beginning, it was Khia. You know Khia. Y'all know my neck, my back, that Khia. And T.S. Madison. Y'all know T.S. Madison. Okay, is it on? Is it on, honey? That T.S. Madison. Okay, so the two of them had a show together. Tamar invited the two of them to come down to the concert in Atlanta and come on stage with her. They had actually just done the song Next Caller. Bitch, stop calling. Y'all remember the song, okay? Fabulous song. It was a bop. They were coming down to do the song and be on stage with Tamar. Candy threw a sledgehammer into it, okay? Now, we got all of that. And I remember all the fallout about that. And Tamar was mad, and Tamar threatened to leave the tour. It was a big old mess, okay? Big old mess. And everything kind of got blamed on Candy. I said, okay, cool. No problem. After watching this and the little things that were being said, I said, oh my goodness. Follow me here, you guys. Miss Tamar. Tamar has always been and is a bitch that plays chess. Tamar does not play checkers. Tamar don't play checkers with you. Tamar is a queen in her own right. You understand me? And I had to respect her for this. I said, girl, you got game, Miss Tamar. What Tamar actually did, she knew exactly what she was doing. There was strife as it pertained to Tiny, Toya, and Candy. Because when Khia and Maddie were together, there was always stuff and jokes, and there was dragging and reads about these people on the show. So naturally, it made sense to me that Candy wouldn't want them to be on stage during her concert. You don't want to use me to get on my platform to boost your platform, and you just sat down there and you done laughed at me. I mean, ongoing jokes. Like literally, right now, people, when you hear, every man wants a woman, everybody knows that that's Candy and the jokes that Khia has made about Candy's voice. Everybody knows it. So, I mean, ongoing, and then calling Toya's daughter Regine, calling her Resume, and all of these various things. Now, the thing is, Khia ain't friends with nobody. Khia don't give a shit. Khia's not friends with nobody. And when it all got said and done, she ain't friends with Maddie. She ain't friends with Candy. She ain't friends with Tamar. None of them. Maddie and Tamar had the friendship. Khia was actually brought in due to the friendship between Tamar and Maddie. Now, dig where I'm getting ready to take you. Okay, so Tamar, you're not crazy. You're not crazy at all. If you know that you got an issue with Candy and Tiny and some of these other girls, you were playing chess, my love. You brought Maddie and Khia in to spite Candy. You knew Candy wasn't going to care for that. And the thing that Maddie has always stood on, Maddie said, we were not coming to gag or roast. We were coming in. We were going on stage with Tamar as a guest. We were going to do the next caller song, and we were going to leave. We were never going to make fun of Candy or anybody like that during the show. And I definitely believe that, because they know they couldn't get on there and do that. That wouldn't be good. But come on, Maddie, you got to understand the position, and I know she understands the position with Candy, and say, you know, well, Candy, you can't just let bygones be bygones. It was a roast, it was a gag, it was jokes. People tell jokes all the time. Yes, people do tell jokes all the time, but at the same time, I don't give you my platform to build your platform after you roast and gag me. Okay? Some people, well, me, I would have laughed it off. Possibly. Just depending. I don't know. They really tore them up. And there was some other things said about Candy. Nah, I wouldn't have laughed it off. Because there was some personal stuff said about Candy that was really, really terrible by Khia. But, so, it didn't shock me that they didn't let it go on. Okay? But the thing here that never got addressed is T.S. Madison, sweetie, your girlfriend, Tamar, she used you. Tamar used Maddie and Khia to get back at Candy. That's how I view it. Now, you all tell me in the comments if you all agree. That was a fierce chess move. You've already had all these problems with them. And you go and get an arch nemesis and bring them to the arena to get on stage. That was a complete and total smack, or would have been a complete and total smack in Candy and Tiny's face and all their friends that Khia had ripped and read on the Queen's Court. That was a fierce chess move. And I said, oh, Tamar, checkmate. Checkmate. Just them showing up and it even being an issue was a checkmate. Even though they never got the chance to get on stage, everybody heard about it. Everybody was jumping on Candy and saying, oh, why did Candy do that? Candy's petty, this, that, thing, that. Checkmate. Checkmate. Good job, Tamar, but that was bitchy. And girl, you definitely played chess like an old queen, honey. I said, oh my gosh. So at the end of the day, this whole thing with Tamar and Candy, this just has not stopped. This has just been an ongoing battle. This is just the next round in this battle between Tamar and Candy. Now, I'm not saying that I'm going to sit around and watch Celebrity Big Brother 4 days out of the week or 3 days out of the week, but I will definitely be keeping my eye on this because this feud is not over. This feud is just beginning. And Candy, if you think Tamar wasn't playing chess, Girl, please. You better put them checkers up, honey. Ain't nobody playing Connect Four but you, Candy. And on that, swipe left. That's our show. Thank you so much for hanging out. I appreciate you. Bring yourself right back here, 12 p.m. next Saturday. We're going to cut through the bull. We're going to get through the mess. And when we get the facts right, then we're going to swipe left. DJ, take me on out of here.